I am going to say something that might seem strange coming from a channel called Motivation Daily. Motivation is not enough. It never was. And if you have been waiting for the right surge of motivation before you take the step, before you start the work, before you finally commit to the thing you keep saying you are going to do, then you have been waiting for something that was never going to be strong enough to carry you all the way there. Not because you lack it, but because motivation, by its very nature, is a visitor. It comes and goes. It peaks and crashes. It shows up on the days you least expect it and disappears on the days you need it most. It is a feeling, and feelings do not keep schedules. Discipline does. Welcome to Motivation Daily. This is March 23rd, and yes, I am fully aware of the irony of a motivation channel telling you that motivation is not the answer, but I would rather give you the truth than the comfortable version, because the truth is what actually changes lives. Here is what most people get wrong about the relationship between motivation and discipline. They treat them as the same thing, as two words for the same inner force that either shows up or doesn't, but they are completely different in nature, origin, and reliability. Motivation is emotional. It is sparked by inspiration, by progress, by a powerful video or a transformative conversation, or the memory of why you started. It is real, and it is useful, and on the days it shows up, it is absolutely worth using. But it is not a system. It is a weather event. You cannot build your life on a weather event. Discipline is structural. It is the decision, made once and honored repeatedly, to do the thing regardless of how you feel about doing it. It is not inspired. It is not exciting. It does not make for great highlight reels or viral moments. Discipline is the 6 o'clock alarm on a dark morning when no one is watching and nothing about the moment feels heroic. It is the work session you sat down for because it was on the schedule, not because the energy was right. It is the promise you kept to yourself for the 400th consecutive time, not because it felt meaningful today, but because you have decided that keeping the promise is who you are. And here is where it gets interesting, because discipline, practiced consistently, eventually produces something that looks a lot like motivation, but is far more durable. It produces identity. When you do something enough times, when the behavior becomes automatic, when the habit is so established that not doing it feels stranger than doing it, you stop needing motivation to start. You just start. Not because you feel like it, because it is simply what you do, because it has become inseparable from who you are. Think about the people in your life, or the people you admire from a distance, who seem to operate at a consistently high level without apparent effort. The ones who are always in shape, always producing, always showing up with energy and focus and follow-through. You might be tempted to think they are simply more motivated than you, that they feel it more, want it more, are wired differently. But I would be willing to bet that the truth is far less romantic than that. The truth is that they built systems. They built routines. They made the decisions about how they would spend their time and energy so far in advance that by the time the alarm goes off or the work begins, there is nothing left to decide. The discipline did the deciding long before the mood had a chance to vote.
So, how do you build this? How do you move from a life governed by motivation, which means a life of peaks and valleys, of productive streaks and crashing slumps, to a life anchored by discipline that simply does not have an off switch? You start with one behavior, not a system, not a routine overhaul, one behavior that you are going to commit to showing up for every single day, regardless of how you feel. It should be small enough to be non-negotiable even on your worst days. Not a 2-hour workout, 5 minutes of movement. Not a full writing session, 1 paragraph. Not a complete financial overhaul, 1 spending decision made consciously. The size of the behavior matters less than the consistency of it. You are not building a result right now. You are building an identity. You are teaching yourself, through repetition, that you are someone who keeps commitments to yourself. That is the foundation everything else is built on. Then you protect the system from your moods. This is critical. You have to decide in advance what you will do when you don't feel like it, because you will not feel like it. Regularly, predictably, and often at the exact moment the behavior is most important. The answer has to already be decided. The answer is, I do it anyway. Not because I am superhuman, because the decision has already been made and I do not reopen decided questions. And finally, you stop waiting for the feeling to start. Start first, every time, without exception. Because discipline is not a feeling you have before you act. It is a practice you build by acting. And the feeling, the satisfaction, the pride, the momentum, the thing that looks so much like motivation from the outside, follows the action every single time, without fail. Motivation will visit you. Be grateful when it does and use every drop of it. But discipline will live with you, every day, in every season, on every morning when the feeling is absent and the work still needs to be done. Build the discipline. The motivation will take care of itself. Share this with someone who has been waiting to feel motivated before they start. Subscribe to Motivation Daily, and remember, we show up for you every day, not because we always feel like it, but because you deserve consistency. Drop a comment and tell me, what is the one behavior you are committing to showing up for every single day, starting right now? Name it. Start it today. See you tomorrow. Keep going.